Hi everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So still working on feathers. Going to take me still a bit of time to finish those up. We might finish that this month, but like I said, I'm losing some time to renovating, so we will see how much of it I get done. Yeah, still trying to make my normal number of videos for you all, but that means I get less stitching time in between, so less is done. Yeah, today I am not starting at 0. I did some stitching earlier, so we're starting at 84 stitches. Last time I forgot to check, so I had no idea how many I'd done on camera by the time I reached the end of the session. But today I'm sort of going to work from the bottom up. We've got the edge of one big feather here, and then there's more colors sort of forming almost stripes, and so that is what I'm going to do, is work from the left hand edge outwards. Sometimes that means from the top down, and sometimes that means from the bottom up. Sometimes that means working sideways a lot. Yeah, I just follow the colors and stitch what just feels right to me. So we have a fair number of color changes today, so that should keep things interesting. And pretty soon I will be working on the garden wall again. As I said, I was thinking I might finish this past by the end of August, but who knows? Due to house renos that, yeah, I said we've been putting off for a long time. Yeah, it's one of those things, I always hate doing them, but once it's done, I'm always glad that it's done. Yeah, it's just the actual doing them is no fun. Oh, I don't know. Maybe there are people out there who enjoy it and not just having the finished product. We will see. Yeah, it's not something I would want to do for a living, that's for sure. My dad actually built houses for a while when I was a kid. Yeah, I'm trying to think how many now. I think 3. I'm not sure, but yeah. So my sister and I always, when we smell wet concrete, we say, "Oh, it smells like childhood." Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and I remember my dad one time, he built the frames to hold where the concrete was poured, and they put a little too much in it, and the whole thing collapsed. And yeah, and I remember him and my grandpa having to take pickaxes to it before it was totally dry to try and save it. But yeah, it was not a good day. Yeah, my dad had trouble competing though, because he did quality work. He never cut any corners, and yeah, some other places do, and so people will say, well, I can buy this, you know, whatever square foot house for cheaper than yours. Why should I buy yours? So yeah, he actually did once where they bought a 1-level rancher and had it put up on blocks and built a 2nd level under it. Yeah, did that the one time. Yeah, we lived in lots of places when I was growing up. We never stayed anywhere very long. Okay. I remember one place my dad built. He actually built my room with a little reading nook in the window, extra wide, window seat. And my mom made cushions for it, stuff, because yeah, I was a big reader when I was a kid. I still like to read, but I don't do it as voraciously as I did when I was a kid, yeah. Well, we weren't really allowed much screen time, yeah. TV was really strictly regulated when I was growing up, so yeah. Books were my escapism. Like, yeah, I'm in my 40s now, but I still remember that magic when I learned to read and just, yeah. Wow, you can just be transported to another world with words on a page. Yes, there was a meme I saw where someone said, "Oh, these things are amazing. It's like a movie in your head." But then it's interesting because not everybody sees images. Yeah, they said like people see different degrees, but there are some people who don't see images in their minds at all. And I said, well, when you read a book, then how, like, it doesn't compute to me, right? How does that work? Because yeah, I see it projected like in my head, like there's a movie there. And yeah, so it's fascinating because they had different levels of from 0 where you see 0 images to people who they said up to 5 where they see it in perfect crystal clarity. And I said mine is around a 4. Yeah, it's a little fuzzy, but I see it pretty clearly, but not quite like perfect movie quality. But yeah, it's pretty fascinating how different minds work. Like I asked my husband, who speaks 2 languages fluently, which language he thinks in, and he said, oh, he doesn't think in words. And I was like, what do you mean? Because like I think in words. And so that was just completely foreign to me. He said, well, I think in images. I'm like, well, I do too, but there's words as well. My brain is very noisy. And then I thought, I wonder if it's an ADHD thing. But then someone was saying apparently people who are multilingual, especially if they learned more than one language very young, are less likely to think in words, which was like, oh, interesting. Because yeah, my husband started learning English when he was 5. So that's when they came to Canada. Because that is the easiest. They said before the age of 10 is when it's easiest to learn another language. Your brain is the most malleable then. You can still learn it later in life, but it is harder. Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure my husband's parents would still think in Hungarian, even though they do speak English. They've been here for, 40 years now? Yeah. Close to it. And, yeah, they had to learn sort of the jump in the deep end and hope you know how to swim. Yeah. They said when they got there, they were able to come to Canada. They didn't speak much more beyond hi, bye, yes, no. Please, thank you. That was about it. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because my husband's next oldest sibling, he doesn't have an accent unless he's tired. Oh, sheesh. Nope. I was waiting to see because, yeah, that seems to happen a lot. One ring and they hang up, so wait till the second ring before I actually start getting up to answer it. Anyway, yeah, he worked hard to lose the accent because there were a lot of kids at school who weren't very nice about it. You know how kids can be, right? And But yeah, my husband still has. It's funny because he thinks he doesn't. But I'm like, oh yeah, you totally do. I knew the instant I was introduced to you that you must speak another language first, because yeah, I could tell. So. Although it's funny because he says, yeah, if he went to Hungary, they would say he has a Canadian accent. Although it's funny because people say a Canadian accent, but it's like, well, there are a lot of different ones depending on where you are. Canada's big, so yeah, a West Coast accent versus a Newfoundland accent are very different. Yeah, it was actually funny. One of my favorite TV shows is Murdoch Mysteries. It's a Canadian TV show, which is set in well, it begins like 1901 or something like that, or maybe 1898 or something, like turn of the century. And yeah, they cast one character. It was based on a set of mystery novels. And they cast Deputy George Crabtree, and or Constable, I should say, Constable George Crabtree. And in the books, he's not from Newfoundland, but the actor that they cast is, and he does have a noticeable accent, so they ended up writing it in that his character is from Newfoundland, because yeah, you could tell. So and it's funny because again, he thought that he didn't have a noticeable accent, and he kind of mentioned that, and everyone kind of laughed because it's like, no, dude, we can tell instantly that you're from Newfoundland. So I love that show. Highly recommend. It's lots of fun. The main character is a detective, but he's got a scientific frame of mind, and they have him invent all sorts of stuff, like he made a metal detector and yeah, things like that. And they use technology that would have been possible at the time, so yeah, it's a lot of fun. The theme music is my phone's ringtone. Yeah, it was actually originally independently produced, and then I think after about 6 seasons in or something, CBC took over. So yeah, that was sort of when I heard of it. I hadn't really heard of it when it was first on. And then yeah, I happened to see a teaser when I was watching something else on CBC, and I thought, oh, that looks interesting, because yeah, I'm a sucker for pretty much any mystery show. So yeah, grew up watching a lot of those with my mom. Agatha Christie, and yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite books is Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. It was required reading, and as I often did, I would put it off until the day before the test and then read it. And yeah, I got about 3 chapters in, I was like, oh, this is so good. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was how I ended up reading the entirety of The Hobbit in one night, which I do not recommend because he is very wordy. Yeah. I aced the test though, so yeah. Okay. So some of this will be done out of order potentially. We shall see. As I say, my method now is have my stitches attached to something that's already stitched, and to try to not close anything in on all four sides. So it's a little less strict than how I used to stitch when I was stitching diagonally. But I am thankful for diagonal stitching because that was how I finally got parking to click for me. I had watched so many different videos trying to make sense of it, and that was sort of what finally made sense to me. And then sort of once I had a lot of practice at it, then I was able to tweak and change things to my own liking. Make sure I don't, okay. I thought maybe I had stitched over one of my parked threads, which I don't want to do. Yeah, so we watched pretty much all the Star Wars stuff on Disney Plus. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of other stuff I've got queued, so we're going to be on that for a while. Like I said, we're currently watching Prison Break, which I'm quite enjoying. Yeah, a lot of people recommended it to me, and it had been on my list for a while. So we're on season 2. Oh, look at that. Yeah. See how many times that end decides to pop up on us. I'm going to be playing whack-a-mole with it, potentially. That happens sometimes. Yeah, so this is sort of, here is one of the last big feathers, and then we've got some more smaller ones. Parts of ones here, and then that will be it for tail feathers for a while until we get that far across in the next pass. And then in the next pass, we're going to get more of the peahen as well. Yeah, that will be further down the tail where the feathers are even bigger. The eye motifs are even more pronounced. Yeah, sorry, that's my kiddo you can hear in the background. He's fine. He just, every time he has a cough, he kind of develops almost like a habit cough even after the cause of it is long gone. Yeah. We went back to the doctor and they said there's no infection or anything anymore, so yeah, that's happened since he was little. It becomes like a tick or something almost. Yeah, so we're supposed to have a week of super hot weather coming up. Some thunderstorms, so that'll be interesting. Yeah. Yeah, fortunately, since we have done some upgrades to our house, it does stay pretty cool, which has been nice. Yeah, we got these energy efficient windows, and we properly insulated the attic. We did that one ourselves, the attic, yeah. With the fiberglass, the blown in fiberglass, yeah. Yeah, that was I was sure sore if we had that done. Yeah, I was manning the bottom, feeding the fiberglass into the machine, and my husband was in the attic with the hose. Yeah, that took us, oh sheesh, pretty much a whole weekend. Yeah. Yeah, because they said our attic used to be R5, and after we upgraded, it's now R40. And yeah, it definitely makes a big difference. Okay. Yeah, so here's a bit more navy blue here at the bottom. Yeah, that's sort of part of an eye motif that we will see more of once we do the next strip, this horizontal strip across this piece. So yeah, lots of thread's going to be parked at the bottom here because it's a very colorful part of the design. Yeah, and then we're going to do a lot more of that window. It's in that garden wall. Yeah, we got just sort of the very top of it, of the arch, in the last pass, and now there's going to be a lot more of it in this pass here. But yeah, as I said, the colors are flowing like this. So to me, I felt working my way from the bottom up just made more sense. There'd be less closing in than if I did the colors and then sort of worked my way in towards this feather. So, although either one works. There have been a couple times where I have stitched sort of the outer part of that curve and then filled it in rather than working from the inside out, and either one works. Yeah, it was interesting saying we were watching Prison Break because we previously saw the two brothers. We previously saw them, those actors, on DC's Legends of Tomorrow when they were, yeah, Snart and Rory. They started out as villains, and then, yeah, Legends of Tomorrow kind of redeemed them. They had their fire and ice guns, so they were a team, yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool because they'd worked together playing brothers, and then, yeah, they worked playing a duo, a superhero duo in that show. Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna, whoops, go from the bottom again, cracking into this thing with my hand there. Just try not to knock it right out of the frame. Yeah, bolts that hold this thing don't really want to, I can't really loosen and tighten them anymore, so I now have I got some headbands, elastic headbands, and I use those to kind of strap them in. I leave it in the closed, as tight as I could close it position, and then, yeah, I just kind of pop the frame in and out. It seems to work that way, so. Well, like I say, I won't complain. I did not pay very much for this frame. Yeah, I've seen some nice ones out there, but yeah, I'm too cheap to pay much. So I just kind of work around the issues with little fixes like my $1 ruler to keep the Q-snap from rolling in the frame, and my little $2 headbands to keep the frame from falling, the Q-snap from falling out of the clamp. It works. Maybe one day I'll invest in a nicer one, but yeah, go say as long as it works, I'm good. Yeah, when I first started cross stitching, I didn't even use a hoop because it was a little kit I made. So yeah, it was a small piece of fabric and I just stitched it completely in hand. And then as the projects grew bigger, yeah, the apparatus I used to hold them grew bigger as well. Oh, that won't work. Darn. Okay. I think this is a color I can probably pack away. It's in my tray right now, but there's not much left in this area. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'll be zeroing out anything during this pass. It's going to be a while. We have not yet achieved any zeros. So we will see. Yeah, I was thinking maybe some of the paler light colors from the sky, but then there's more on the peahen's chest and in sort of the center of the big flowers, so won't be any there either. Yeah, zeroing out is always fun. Once I do that, I take the envelope out and put it back into the master set, and then I have fewer I have to sift through, so that makes things go a little quicker by the end. Okay. Oh dear. Another one I can probably pack away. Yeah, these are the last few stitches of this color for a while. So well, once I'm done with all the tail feathers, then I generally browse through what's in my tray, pack a bunch of colors away because I won't be using them again for a while. Because yeah, I only have about 30 spots on the tray and there's 90 colors, so yeah, obviously can't have them all out at the same time. don't think I'll be making it to 45% by the end of this month. Next month for sure. Although I say 50% by the end of the year should definitely be doable. All right, this is a bit of a longer carry, but it will all get stitched over and tacked down, so I'm not worried. It's within that inch that I like to carry, so okay. Oh, yeah, someone riding a motorbike down the... Gosh, I had one time my son was in elementary school, and it was near the end of the school year, and I was going to pick him up. And I was parked right where the school zone ends, like basically right under the sign that says end of school zone. And a guy drove by on his motorbike, and of course he revved it right as he hit that, you know, left the school zone. And my window was open, and I was reading while I was waiting for kiddo to show up. So I didn't really hear it coming until he revved it like right next to my window. Oh my gosh, I almost had a heart attack. Oh, that scared the heck out of me. Oh. But yeah, they said they actually have to make them fairly loud so that cars could hear them, because it'd be a safety issue if they can't. Yeah. Because obviously they are harder to see in people's blind spots because they're smaller, and yeah, between a car and somebody on a bike, well, I think we know who's going to take the worst of it. So yeah, like I said, we started at 84 stitches. So we haven't even quite reached 100 yet, because it's been quite a few color changes, slowing things down. But I like that detail, that is for sure. Okay, I'm going to stitch this one since it is connected on the one side, even if that does kind of make this shape a little wonky. And let's take a look here. Okay, so yeah, again, I'm going to carry this thread up and over, I think. There'll be some stopping and starting as I fill in gaps. Oh goodness, this piece of thread got very tangled on itself. Let's see if I can... Yes, excellent. It's able to smooth it out. was hoping that would pull back to the other side, but no such luck. I apologize. My son was not coughing this much when I sat down to stitch. Hope it's not too irritating for you all. I prefer to stitch when the house is empty, but of course, he's on summer holidays. That's not so easy. So I'll start a new, bigger piece when I get to those stitches up top there. But for now, I'm just going to keep growing from this edge here. Oops. Be careful, I don't want to be accidentally stitching with 4 strands there. Yeah, I didn't move the needle or the thread down further down, then the end ends up too close, gets sewn in, and then yeah, trying to undo that later is really, really tough. Guess how I know? Okay, we're finally just about 100 stitches in on camera. Okay. As you can see, there's another big navy blue strip there coming up. That's sort of, I think, the last feather that's in this pass. And then we will be working on the wall. I do have some more feathers further up on this that need to be done, but we're getting very close to having this bit of the tail completed. Okay. Attach a full-length piece, maybe? No, actually I won't. Yeah, just a medium one for now. Yes, if I have multiple lengths of thread, then how many stitches I'm going to need from it in an area will influence which one I decide to use. Parking it out of this pass, but of course, yeah, that will depend when I use it later, how long I want it to be. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna do that first. No, okay, I thought maybe that would be the last stitch with that color, but no, it's not. Okay. So it looks like I put up a really impressive number, but I did do over 80 of those stitches before I started filming, so. Yeah, I would love if I could do that many stitches per hour. Yeah, I think the most number of stitches I managed to do in an hour was close to 300, but they were like 2 colors and that was it. So yeah, it was some huge blocks, so I was really able to motor through it, but I had to be careful then because yeah, I could hurt my arms with repetitive stress carpal tunnel if I don't watch it. So I figure let's sort of finish this bit of this curve here, and that will probably be where I will take a break today. think this might be another color. Yeah, I can pack away pretty soon. Goodness. Yeah, I really wouldn't have expected so many reds to be in the peacock's tail. I expected the oranges and browns, but not the reds, but they do look good, I have to say. I have been happy with the overall result. When you step back and look at the whole thing, yeah. They add the right amount of shading, so I guess they know what they're doing. But yeah, like this red is very, very bright. It's called Christmas red, I believe. Yeah, like I said, at first glance, it's not a color I would have expected, but I guess having the other colors around it kind of tones it down a little bit. Yeah, one time I ripped out a bunch of stitches convinced I'd used the wrong thread, and then discovered that no, they were correct. It was just the other colors around it kind of tricked my eye, made an optical illusion, and looked different, even when I was holding the thread, the bobbin, like right up against it. Yeah, it didn't look the same. But then once I ripped the pieces out, I took the little pieces and compared them, and yeah, they were an exact match. It just was an optical illusion. I was like, well, that was a total waste of time. I should have just said, well, close enough, and left it, because it turned out it actually was correct. Oh dear. Yeah, well, I like to say, like, are you even a stitcher if you don't have a story like that? Yeah. As we all do, if you stitch long enough, you will. I remember one time I knit this cotton top, and it had like straps, and I 3 times seamed it the wrong way so one side was inside out. Yeah. Like, don't ask me how I managed to do that. Undid it. And did it again. The second time was inside out, and I couldn't turn it the right way. And then, yeah, I did it backwards again, and it was one half of the strap was the right side out and the other half was inside. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, it's like, I swear I do know how to knit. I just, yeah. It was one of those, my brain couldn't get into gear for some reason. Oh. Okay, so I think I will do this color. And that may be where I leave things for today. Maybe not, we'll see. Let me do a few others, because I have some parked threads that are right up against this edge, so it would make sense to do them. So I may do that. Stitch to maybe 250, since I did some of them off camera. Okay, let's see. Well, we're past 250, but I'll stitch a few more. Just double checking with my grid lines that everything is correct. as well finish these off and park them out of the diagonal before I quit for the day. I'll do this one as well. And we can tie that off. Oh, I could get that to cooperate with me, that is. Yeah, I think that is where I'm going to call it a day. I need to get up and stretch. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you here next time. Thanks, everyone.